So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector. And tonight I have Ben. He's from the band Slaughtersun, which is a death metal band from New Jersey. And they're putting out their debut EP this January 10th, and it's called Black Marrow. So, Ben, how are you tonight?
Doing okay. Just got home from a job, hit the gym, and now I get to talk to you.
Awesome. Yeah, pretty hectic day. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me on board.
yeah, no, I listened to the EP, pretty cool EP, and a lot of these songs were already out once since 2023, but for this EP, you remastered them.
Yeah.
So for people that probably don't know Slaughter Song because you're a newer band, I know you formed in 2023. Tell us a little bit about the history of the band.
Well, basically, it's a four-piece band. Myself, I play violin, and then we got a bass player, we got a drummer, and a vocalist. And yeah, it's an idea that I came up with several years ago, and I started writing demos, back in probably 2016, 2017, but just never had the time really, or the money to, or the motivation to just like kick it off and get it going. I always envisioned a death metal band where my violin is the guitar, essentially.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting. It says treble strings.
yeah.
So you know what? Listening to it, I couldn't tell that it was a violin.
Oh, yeah. It's 'cause I figured I wanted to not be so on the nose. Kind of force people to go check it out a little bit more before they learn. So in interviews I'll openly talk about it, but yeah, anything that's written in print, like on the EP for instance, yeah, I just write treble strings because if I can fool people into thinking I'm playing guitar, then kind of doing what I set out to do.
Well, you fooled me, man.
Cool.
I saw treble strings. I'm like, what the fuck is treble strings? Like, so so now I know it's a violin. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't lying though.
No, no, you weren't lying. I just
But
didn't know what treble strings meant. I'm like, what does that mean? So,
uh,
so you've set out to do the band. So tell me how you guys form, and so you wanted to bring like the violin to heavy music. Tell me a little bit about that because obviously not everyone does violin with death metal.
yeah. Well, I've been doing it for over a decade now. My band Windfair, it's like a blackened sort of folk metal band, also Jersey based. I've been playing with them since 2009 or 2010 or so.
Mhm.
And that band really helped me to develop my sound, in playing in a metal in a high gain environment. Through that band, I would play through a half stack full pedal board with effects, just like a guitar player would. And it was just it was a fun challenge, and still is because we're still going. We've just been dormant for a while, but just to see how I can blend and how I can play kind of rhythm guitar parts, not just doing leads, and make it work in the context of the band. So if you listen to Windfarer, the first album, I'm doing pretty much all just leads and typical violin playing. But then from the EP we put out, Solar and Beyond, that's when I really started to spread out and try to pretend my violin was a rhythm guitar parts, where I felt appropriate, of course, whatever serves the music. Yeah, Windfarer has been a crucial part of my growth as a musician. And my other band, Thank You Scientist, that's like a
Yeah.
prog rock band. That band, I also do the same thing where as often as I can, I'll try to find more rhythm guitar type parts to play. Sometimes it's a little more tricky there since we're such a dense orchestration with seven pieces. But yeah, and it was just my an idea that I always had to kind of take it a step further. Okay, let's take the guitar out of the picture altogether. Let's see what I can do just with my instrument, and then bass and drums, vocals supporting. Well, not supporting, but playing with. I don't consider myself just a soloist. The band plays as a unit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how you describe like the singer does unearthly wails. I
Well,
was like,
I'm a big black metal fan, so if you look at
yeah,
some of the more like raw black metal albums, Razor
yeah,
Wires, Music of the Spheres, like all these weird instrument names. So that's where I got the idea for that from.
yeah. But you know what? Like, if I didn't know, like, it sounds like the death metal to me. But I'm not a musician, so I don't know. But like, it sounds pretty cool. So, for this band, you decided to do more death metal, obviously adding your flair to it. So the band, how did the band get together?
So I guess I started calling everybody up to bring the project into fruition, probably like either late 2022 or early 2023. So the first person on board was my bass player Cody McCory, and me and him have been making music for years. He's the bass player in Thank You Scientist, and I also play in his band. We used to cut the grass. That's kind of like it's an original band, but it's like a Frank Zappa sort of sound. It's a lot of
Oh,
brass,
cool.
big arrangements. We actually did a lot of Zappa covers when I first joined the band, and even toured with Ike Willis, who was one of Zappa's frontmen. So he was the first person who was rock solid in. I met Jason Quinones from Tombstoner when I recorded Tombstoner. I produced all three of their records so far, and at this point they're just close friends. They've been at my wedding and everything. So they're like family. And Jason is one of the most talented drummers I know. So it was pretty easy to want to ask him to join the band, and fortunately for us, he accepted, and we're on our way. And then Justin Hillman, uh, our vocalist, he I know through Cranial Damage, and I also produced a couple EPs for them. So yeah, they're local homies too, part of the family. So it's cool because my recording business has spread my network out and introduced me to a lot of new musicians. Um, and yeah, I just meet people and oh, looking for this. I'm looking for this. Now I got more contacts to pick from.
Okay, and obviously you recorded DCP for Slaughter Song. So tell me a little bit about uh, the recording for this because I know you recorded I think some of the songs or most of the songs on a studio that closed in New Jersey, correct?
Yeah, so I got into the recording business from my friend Bobby Torres. He runs Frightbox Recording. He's got a pretty popular YouTube channel where he gives all sorts of tutorials and instruction on
What
mixing
plan
tips and
does he
whatnot.
make? What band does he play in?
He's got a band called Voidscape. Um,
I
that's his
interviewed them.
current. Oh, you did? Fantastic.
Yes, you said the name. I'm like Bobby, and he's got a YouTube channel. I'm like, yes, I interviewed them last year. Pretty cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, Bobby's a great guy. I owe a lot to him for taking me on and teaching me the ropes for engineering. He taught me how to drum edit, and then to record, produce, and I just took all the things that he showed me and did my own practice and just exponentially got better over the years. But yeah, I used to basically be his assistant for the first few years. We would kind of tag team projects. He would have me engineer usually most of a recording, and then he'd take care of the mix and the master. So yeah, that's where I got the skill from. So then I started to gradually build my network, take on my own projects, and I would just rent the studio space from him. And as of May this past year, he closed down the doors to his original space, and he's now building a studio in his home, and I'm doing the same thing. So yeah, that was a very popular. It was a bittersweet thing because we got to do the last recording in that room the day before it closed. But also, it's been open for like 15 years. So many bands from New Jersey have been there. Windfair recorded most of our discography there. Just and so many friends I've made. Just working in that room. So it's it sucks that it's gone, but it's time to move on.
So you being recording and engineering and doing that. How much? Because I've seen so many interviews that like the room is important. That like when you're recording, like there's a room better for drums. Like would you like you be doing that? Like, how much does the room influence like a sound of a record?
It depends how much of the room you want to use.
Okay.
Because like if you have a great room, then hell yeah, you can use those room mics. Like the room will have a nice sound to it, and you'll be able to utilize that in the final product when you're mixing. If you got a room that sounds like crap or is just kind of dead, then all right, maybe your room mics aren't going to be so useful. But as long as you got your close mics and you got some creative ideas, you can do all sorts of stuff with effects, plugins working in the box, which is what I mostly do anyway. You can create some incredible sounds just with on the digital end of things, even if you have a suboptimal room, as long as it's not completely noisy. Because obviously, if you're trying to record a very quiet, tender vocal take, and then there's some sort of loud noise coming from outside that's bleeding in, then that's going to get in and ruin your take. But Frightbox, it was we joke around. It was just a crackdown of a studio because it was in an industrial building that was like 100 years old, and it was just a regular rehearsal room. There's bands rehearsing down the hall, so sometimes I'd have to deal with bleed from like a doom band playing at 11, and yeah, it was mostly a dead sounding room, and we recorded all the drums there. So yeah, the room it can if you have a good room, then it can make a recording that much better. But you can
Ooh,
have a
yeah.
pretty crappy room and deaden it, and you can also get some very, very good results.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what exactly makes a room be good for music?
Yeah, in my opinion, I mean, I like having like a lively room sound when I'm tracking
Mhm.
drums. So honestly, Frightbox was not the optimal place to track drums for my taste. I'm currently working out of my basement, I got one main room where I have the drums and the desk, and I have a laundry room that's right next to where my desk is. And what I like to do here, the laundry room is untreated; it's just drywall. So I throw up a stereo pair of mics in the laundry room, so it's diffused because if I close the door, it's not in the same room as the drum kit, but the drums are loud enough where it bleeds through, and the laundry room just sounds totally live. So I just blend a little bit of
Hmm,
that in, and I get a really really nice like room sound to blend the rest of the close mics together. So that's
interesting.
how I use it.
Yeah, using the laundry to
Yeah,
your advantage. Uh,
yeah, make it work.
s- yeah, so DCP, it has those 4 tracks, and you have the Relentless Telemic, which is one
Mhm.
of the singles, but you have two versions on this. You have the recorded one and the Fright live session that you close the EP on that one. How special was it for you to have like that live version on DCP?
Oh, I really wanted to put it on there because yeah, I mean the EP it was planned to just be re-releasing technically old music.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to just throw something in there to sweeten the deal a little bit. And we're working on a bunch of new music right now, but none of it is anywhere close to being ready to record. So
That was my next
figured,
question, but you beat me to
yeah,
it.
yeah. But yeah, the fact that we had Frightbox available, it was closing down. We figured why not, let's do a live session there. Just record a few songs and pick one that sounds good and include it with the rest of the tracks. Yeah, adding that bonus track plus a fresh remix remaster of the other songs, and then adding a little intro to it.
Yeah,
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 I
you
felt
have
like that was
a little
yeah, I
intro at
just
the
felt that
beginning.
was a good way to kind of round it out. Put a little bit more playtime on the disc, and just make it a little more worthwhile to print on CD.
Okay, so I'm guessing next year you're going to be busy working on like, are you planning on doing another EP, or are you looking to do like a full length?
No, definitely an album. I think the EP we made our mark, which is what I wanted to do. I want to put some music out,
Mhm.
this past year. But really, I want to go into the long form release, go for an album. Like probably 35, 40 minutes in length. That's what we'll target, enough to fit on a single LP in the event that we get a label opportunity. But yeah, I've been working hard on getting demos done. I've been throwing stuff back and forth to the guys, just getting advice, seeing what they think, and the next step will be to sit down with Jason, me and him, just one on one, go through the tunes, and he's excellent at kind of organizing songs. Like he'll help me come up with a better way to kind of sequence things, or he'll just tell me what I
Okay.
did was good, and I won't have to touch it. But 9 times out of 10, he'll have a bunch of input on like the structure of the song, and the riffs that are there. So he's an instrumental part with how it sounds.
Yeah. There's some tracks, I don't know, Black Marrow, when I was listening to them, like vocally, it reminded me a little bit of like a Lamb of God type of like Randy Blythe vocals.
Yeah, it's funny. You're not the first person to say that. And honestly, I have never really listened to Lamb of God. I might have heard a tune or two in passing, but I can't say I know what you mean when you say that.
Hmm.
And at this point, now it's because I haven't listened to Lamb of God much in the first place. I'm just kind of making a point to not listen to it because I don't want to influence anything. I'll get around to it eventually. But no, that's just funny that you say that because we've heard that before.
So you said that you help with some of the lyrics or like the phrasing. What's that like? Like your singer writes the lyrics, but you help like with some phrasing, or is that more like in the choruses?
Yeah. So yeah, the basically like we'll come in to work on vocals. I like to do a pre-production so he has some stuff to kind of work with when he's writing the final lyrics. The pre-production could be anything as simple as just like scat or like filler words, just to get some
Mhm.
rhythms down. But then once he decides on the theme and the direction he wants to take it in, he basically comes up with sequence for the song in his head. We start tracking it for real, and then I just put the producer hat on. If the ideas he has are great, awesome. Less work for me. But if there's a part where I feel like, okay, maybe use this type of like rhythm or phrasing a couple times in a row. Let's find a way to mix it up a little bit. Or okay, this part's going into an odd meter. Let's kind of reflect that a little more. Let's grab these different accents. And then occasionally that'll result in changing up a couple of words just so the syllables fit the rhythm better.
Okay. Do you enjoy uh the producing part of it? Of
Oh, I love
like
it.
yeah. Yeah, because not everyone can do that. Like is it harder when you're like producing a band that you are involved in?
No, I think it's easier because I mean,
Okay.
this is I'm the band leader and this is what I'm leading the ship here.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
so
nice.
yeah, I'm thinking about these songs like almost 24/7. So like there's tons of stuff going in my head. So it's my opportunity to get it out.
Okay. So obviously you're producing other bands. Right now, there's a lot of music like being produced. Like when you're producing bands, like what's your criteria to take up bands that you want to work with?
Do they have money and can pay me for my
Well,
time?
that's a
uh,
very honest answer.
well, no, I like to be pretty fair. I'm not charging like crazy platinum record rates or anything. But an acceptable budget to work with is one thing.
Mhm.
Typically, yeah, if it's a style of music that I like, rock and metal is what I'm most comfortable working with, and that's just kind of where my taste tends to go. That's where my expertise lies more so. So, if it was like a straight up sort of pop artist or like hip hop, something that I'm not really savvy with, then that might be not be the type of thing that I take.
What about an indie rock band?
I haven't recorded an indie rock band yet, because nobody's ever asked me. But I'd try it out. Um,
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, I don't listen to much indie rock, but I like the kind of raw aesthetic that a lot of it has. Yeah, and I like some shoegaze stuff. Yeah, and I like punk. I like bands that can have kind of crossover genres with it. So
Mhm.
I'd be open
Yeah.
to working with an indie band if a good one came along.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like, obviously, they need to pay you, but like, I'm guessing as a producer, you wanna work with bands that you like what they're doing,
Yeah,
like you're gonna put your stamp on it. They're gonna yeah. So I'm
no,
guessing that's yeah.
I'd rather work with a really good band and charge a much lower rate than work with a band that I'm not into at all, or it just isn't very good, and charge them full price.
Mhm.
Because it's fun when the music's good, when the energy's good, when the production's moving along. So and I'm at a point in my life right now where even though I'm doing it regularly and I'm playing music regularly and professionally, I'm not relying it as my sole source of income. So I I'm at a point where fortunately, if there's a project that doesn't really jive with me, then I don't have to think twice about saying sorry. I'm not going to take this one because I was full time doing music for a good decade of my life outside of college, and you know the uh, the fact that sometimes you just got to take a gig even though you don't really like the music, but you need to pay your rent. It's work. It can feel a little soul sucking at times. So yeah, I'm just fortunate where I don't have to do that.
No, yeah, a good thing that you're able to balance those things out. So in DCP for you, do you have is there a favorite track for you on DCP?
Uh, that's tough. I love them all.
Mhm.
I I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's definitively my favorite, but one that I think is, at least according to our play numbers, I think is a little overlooked. Ready Cell Awaits. That's the third one we put out. That song was actually the first demo that I wrote for the project. So like the earliest rendition I have of that tune is from like 2016 or something,
Yeah,
or
that
maybe
one
even
has like a
earlier.
death thrash metal vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of the stuff I get into with thrash zone a little bit just because it's fun to play.
Yeah, the fast pacing of that. So I want to show the artwork for the full EP that's gonna be out the 10th of January. So here we have the full artwork, so we can, talk about it. So first of all, it's a pretty cool artwork for, for an EP. So tell me a little bit about the artwork and what you were trying to get out of the artwork.
Um, Honestly, for the EP, I cut myself a break with the like creative intention with the artwork. So I didn't sit and painstakingly think, all right, what do I want the artwork to look like? I went and just scoured through Instagram at different artists just to see who I found. And actually, a buddy of mine, my buddy Brian from the band Pile of Knives, that's another good new band if you're looking for others. He actually recommended this guy, and I checked out his work. And stylistically, I thought it was really cool. You know, it's kind of like raw, like just looking, but lots of detail. There's polish too. Black Marrow. The bones, the skulls that
Yeah.
just kind of makes sense. But yeah, I just kind of gave him some themes to work with. I sent him all the music that we had. I sent him the lyrics, and I just said, "Go for it." And he sent me something, and we went back and forth a couple of times. I gave him some tweaks to do, and this is where we're at.
Yeah, it looks death metal, it's pretty cool
Yeah.
artwork and it goes with the themes of the music. So yeah, pretty cool artwork for the EP. So are you gonna have like the EP when it comes out? It's gonna be like digital or is there gonna be like physical copies?
Yeah, so it's being released. You can get it digital. We have an amp wall page.
Mhm.
So you download it there at full wave quality if you want. And then we're doing a run of 500 hand numbered Digipack CDs. So that's going to be
Impact series.
yeah, that'll be at least the first pressing hand numbered.
Okay, I'll post the link for people who want to get those. So do you have some coming up next for Slaughtersun? Do you have some shows planned? What's next for the
Yeah,
band?
so the next show we got in the books, we're going to treat it as our EP release show. It's at Mother Pugs in Staten Island, New York, on January 25th. So we're playing that along with our buds Festigore, Torturous Inception, and Jason's pulling double duty. Tombstone will be headlining the night.
Oh wow, he's gonna
Yeah.
be busy.
Yep.
So
Put him to
yeah,
work.
January, that's a good, because the first week of January, nobody should put shows out because no one's gonna, everyone's gonna be like wasted. So yeah, that's a good time
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
to
End of the month, give people time to chill out a little bit.
chill out and recover from all the
Yes,
money being spent during the holiday season.
absolutely.
Which at this moment, some of my family members are getting hugs.
I mean, hey, at least you're showing love.
Yes, it's expensive right now. Like I can't buy shit for everyone. Uh so Ben, like it's been great chatting with you tonight, about Slaughter Song, music and production stuff. Like anything that you like to say to the people or the fans before we go tonight?
You know, Hector, you remember it was you, me, and Fresno Bob. You should have seen what they did to Bob.
Is that from a movie?
Yes, Escape from New York.
Oh, okay,
Fate
I'm,
behind.
I'm like, I think I heard that.
Um, yeah, I guess just anybody watching the interview and has made it to the end, thank you. I hope you take interest enough to go and give a listen and hopefully open your wallet and purchase a copy or download it from somewhere and just tell a bunch of friends and spread the word.
Yeah. So yes, Slaughter Song, the EP out January the 10th. If you like death metal, and death metal, obviously with a twist, with some violins, that's it does the same thing as the guitar. So that's pretty, that's pretty impressive because not everyone does that. So listen to Slaughter Song. I'll post the link for people who want to, like order or get the physical copy and follow them online so you know when they're going to do the shows. I'm guessing I know I have you on Instagram, so you're on Instagram, the Facebook, the face and everything else in between. So until next time, couchers, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.